Top 5 Most Brutal Methods of Torture in Antiquity. 5. The torture chair. Also known as the Judas chair, this gruesome torture was typical of dungeons during the Middle Ages. Used until the 1800s in Europe, this chair has between 500 and 1,500 nails on its surface, as well as narrow straps to hold the victim. Made of iron, sometimes there are heating elements underneath. It has also often been used to scare people into confessing while they watch other people being tortured. 4. The wheel of torture. The wheel of torture is known to always kill the victim very slowly. The victim was tied by the hands and feet with his stomach up and was rotated several times until a fire was lit under him. The victim was roasted over a slow fire. Sometimes, instead of fire, sharp spears were placed, which inflicted severe injuries on the accused with each turn of the wheel. These inhumane methods of punishment by the Inquisition have thankfully remained only in the history books. And today, we can be thankful that we live in times when these methods would not have been tolerated by any institution. 3. Judas cradle. The Judas cradle is a pyramid-shaped device made of wood, on which the victim is tied and lowered until the body comes into contact with the sharp point of the pyramid. The intensity of the pain caused by the torture cradle can be changed in several ways. The victim may be swung onto the pyramid repeatedly, dropped onto it. Brass weights may even be placed attached to the victim's feet. 2. Torture with rats. Another favored torture method of the Spanish Inquisition was the rat torture. A box was placed over the victim's body, the only opening of which was touching the unfortunate man's stomach. Several large rats were placed in the box. The vessel was heating up on one side, and the animal's natural instinct was to flee. They did this by gnawing their way to freedom. It is one of the most sadistic and painful methods of torture known in 1. The English penalty for state fraud. Until 1814, the punishment for treason was one of the bloodiest tortures invented by man. People were successively enraged, copied, and disemboweled. Mandatory executions were public. The victim was first dragged by a horse about 200 meters. She was then enraged for a short period, care being taken not to die. This was followed by burning with live coals, castration, and disembowelment, while also taking care not to let the victim die. The end came with the dismemberment of the condemned. This is how William Wallace from Mel Gibson's famous film Braveheart was executed.